Ta-da! Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of First World Third Rails. Your host, Marlon, aka Mayhem, aka I think I'm still Mr. B rating on Spoutable. Working my way towards an A rating. We'll see. My partner in crime, none other than JD, aka JD. How you doing, partner?
I'm fine, thank you.
I got a special background this morning. And that's where I want to start today's show. I want to give a shout out.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I want to give a shout out to a very special place near and dear to my heart, obviously, and near and dear to a lot of my social media followers and connections. Lahaina, Maui. The news coming out of there is just absolutely devastating. And I've got some.
What's coming out of Lahaina?
Oh, dude, you obviously haven't been up on the news. Hurricane Dora's wind sparked wildfires in Lahaina. As of this morning, the numbers are. I'm getting different reports of numbers, but I think as of this morning, certainly over 100 people have been killed. Lahaina has been destroyed. Something I want to share, just to put this in perspective. I'm going to share today's media share day. Rare for me to share a lot of media on our podcast, but today merits doing that. That's an area of Lahaina I know all too well. I've been there many times. As you can see, the lighthouse is there. Maui Princess, which is a cruise line, is there. Whale watching docks are there. Their museum is there. The public library is there. This is an aerial shot clearly before yesterday. This is as of yesterday. Okay. Oh, son of a bitch. My mouse is not cooperating this morning. There we go.
I hate that. It hurts so bad.
It is. I'm just. And Lahaina Grill is one of the establishments that I frequented every time I went to Maui, and it is absolutely burned to the ground. One sec. Sorry about that. Calvin was texting. He didn't get my message, of course, until just now. So I'll circle back with him. Yeah, man, just devastated, just devastating. Homes, businesses, communities, and so my shout out to the people of Lahaina and Maui and as a whole. We will do all we can to help you rebuild and restore, obviously. To those, to the assholes who are commenting on pictures like that. If
Why
you
would
can't
anybody comment on a picture like that,
if you can't offer, and we know you're only good for thoughts and prayers. That's all you're good for. We see that every mass shooting in America. So stick to thoughts and prayers and keep the rest to your ignorant ass self. Okay? The youth in this country give me hope. The ignorant in this country make me wish things that I don't want to say here on our broadcast. because it's just, I see comments, the deniers specifically, who
Are we
don't
talking about deniers related to what
climate,
happened in Hawaii?
yeah,
Oh, so this is,
who don't understand that the wildfires started from the winds from Hurricane Dora, which is part of the change we see, you and I talk about every single day about what's happening to our planet, what we're doing and what we're not doing to address it. And so the deniers come out in incidents like this. And I'm making a personal plea: shut the F up unless you have thoughts and prayers, which is all you're good for. Offer that and keep your mouth shut, because we don't need to hear your bullshit right now.
I'm going to agree with you.
Uh, uh, my heart hangs heavy in Lahaina this morning. Lahaina is also where people who, like me, 2 decades ago, go on their honeymoon. They're well known for their luau's. Their luau's are world famous in that location. All of that has been destroyed, devastated. I hope, and I know they will. I know people are resilient in moments like this, and they will rebuild, and hopefully we will help them rebuild, recover. Terrible. And the ironic thing, we were planning to go there. We were literally planning to go to Maui in about a week, and decided just recently, right before this happened, actually, that we would forego trying to go right now and save the money and think about going at another time. The
So
state,
presumably you would have gone to Lahaina, right?
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go.
And I'd be stuck there right now, as are about 2,000 people trying to get out of that area. And they are recommending that tourists do not come for obvious reasons. They need resources right now to try and rebuild, and the body count is still going up. So it's a really bad situation there. So hopefully, as you know, our whole life has been, when there is bad and negative and things like this, we try and take a positive from it. And hopefully the positive we take from this is a renewed focus on what we are doing and how we are impacting our planet.
I love you, man.
I know it won't happen, but that's my hope. I want to move.
I'm glad that's settled.
I want to move to something else this morning. Let me grab it. Where is it? Give me a sec. I want to move to Dark Brandon. Hang on.
I'm a hanging.
Damn it. My is just not cooperating this morning. Share screen. Dark Brandon, as we like to call him. One sec. Dark Brandon, as we like to call him, encountered a MAGA head at an event he was doing. I believe this is yesterday. And I love when he shuts the MAGAs down like this. And this is just beautiful. Rolling tape. You ready?
I'm ready.
And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take my push-ups. Number two. No one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Not
I
one.
didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's but I hear on MSNBC. all the
You don't
time.
hear that in
No,
MSNBC. You did not hear that, but you heard. Look, okay, I'm not gonna get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Fat, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does. when you're-
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm not voting for you.
Well, I knew you weren't, man. You think I thought you'd stand up and vote for me? You're too old to vote for me.
Bada bing, bada boom. I love it.
You're too old to vote for me.
Did he call him fat?
Yes,
Golf clap.
yes.
Every once in a while, you need to do an ad hominem attack to get somebody's attention because this guy
Get
was
your
doing,
fucking facts straight.
well, this guy was combining multiple methods, including an ad hominem attack. The moment you open with "you're too old,"
Yes.
that's an ad hominem attack.
Get your facts straight. You want the microphone, you want to take on Biden, get your facts straight. And don't come at him with the Fox News bubble bullshit, which is exactly what he did.
Well, what's intriguing to me is that there are, so let's say he's handed the microphone. What he did was sloppy and deserving of
Inaccurate.
man. But what he could have said is he could have said, President Biden, I'm concerned about your age. And is there any type of insight you can give me into how you're mitigating that aspect?
He started with that. Biden was like, look, you want to do, we can do two sets of
No, I'm talking about posing the question. A question about his age is legitimate. A question about his relationship with his son is legitimate. He didn't ask questions. He made ad hominem accusations / attacks.
that he got from Fox
You
News.
set your son up.
That he got
they're
from Fox
legitimate-
News.
They're legitimate subjects, and questions about the subjects are legitimate. He didn't ask questions. He made statements, and the
Yes.
response to those statements should be, listen, fat. It's fair.
He did nothing more, and I know this because I know it when I hear it and see it. The Fox News bubble talking points. I know it, and to even go to have the audacity to think that Joe Biden isn't going to understand that you are quoting Fox News talking points and saying you heard it on MSNBC makes you what? Don't make me go to my toolkit, pull out the I word.
I'm going to ask you a favor, and then I'll tell you why in just a moment. Could you repeat that phrase? I heard it on MSNBC. Just repeat that phrase.
I heard it on MSNBC.
If you go back and listen, he is unaccustomed to speaking that acronym. He's not accustomed to saying MSNBC. He said, I heard it on MSNBC.
It's a fun. We know he didn't hear it there. We know he didn't hear it there. He heard it on Fox.
But I mean,
and
he clued us in. He clued us in with the question.
with the question. Oh, God bless America.
You know what I normally put in my coffee? Hydrazine.
Oh,
Sure you do, man.
you've known me a very long time.
Well, not long enough. Bitch.
True. You know in knowing me that you know what's in my heart.
All right,
That's
so
what
you're saying
that's what I'm trying.
I know what you know, that I know what you know.
What I know.
You know it.
You know what is
No question.
you know what is in my heart.
I do.
And in my heart is love for my fellow man.
That is a true statement.
Regardless of what walk of life you come from.
Okay, let's differentiate. What do you mean by love? Because you just said regardless. It almost sounds as if you're making a vast sweeping statement that includes all of humanity. I don't find that you have love in your heart for all humanity. I know you would never harm any one of the 7 billion meat sacks on the surface of
Yes,
the planet.
yes,
So that part I believe, but
yes.
I would not characterize that as love.
Okay, let me rephrase. I have love in my heart for 62% of humanity. Let me rephrase.
But you have respect for
Yes,
the rights and existence of 100%.
of 100%. And I don't wish ill on any man. I'll even include I don't wish ill on them. Do I want to put them on a barge and send them out to the middle of the ocean? Yes, I do want to do that, but I don't wish ill on them. Having said,
Here's a legitimate wish in that vein. Are there people that you wish they were locked up in a federal penitentiary?
yes. That's not wishing ill
No, that's wishing.
or harm. I don't wish harm on others, but having said that, we now live, in my opinion, and in my view, in a world where there are exceptions. And yesterday, we got introduced to one of those exceptions. And I'm not going to name them by name, but it is the MAGA in Provo, Utah, that the Fed served a warrant on. And in serving that warrant, one of the best tweets I saw was the FBI, if you recall, the FBI came and knocked on Kathy Griffith's door, comedian Kathy Griffith, when she did the detached Trump head. The FBI came and knocked on her door, and she let them in. The FBI knocked on this MAGA's door yesterday, and he pulled a gun, and he is no longer with us because he pulled a gun.
He are dead.
He are dead.
So they shot.
Now we're starting to peel that onion back. We've seen it. He, one, had an arsenal. Two, multiple social media photos of him with his AR-15 and his AR-15 lapel pin, threatening. The reason FBI was there because he was threatening our president on his trip to Utah. And he has photos of him with a Trump hat. He's a MAGA. He's a MAGA. And MAGAs are effing around and they're finding out. And he was one yesterday. And so, pardon me while I look for the world's smallest violin. We all know whose hands that blood is on.
Well, he may have uttered something like, "Over my cold, dead body." And it's like, okay.
He mentioned something about,
As you wish.
you want to go that route, we can go
You
that
want to
route.
go that route? I mean, I mean, if you go through a chronology of movies, you'll probably find at least 100 or 200 or 300 sentences like this one. We can do this the hard way, or we can do this the easy way. It comes up in different places with different treatment, but it's
He
a
did it.
universally recognized. You make the decision. You have the option here, and we can do this the hard way, or we can do it the easy way. Sometimes it's the good guys, sometimes it's the bad guys. And they gave him an option. We can do this the hard way. We can do this the easy way, and you can answer the fucking door, or we can do this the hard way. His choice.
I don't know that my mouse is cooperating. It seems to be at the moment.
It's probably over tabbed.
It is over tabbed. These are his social media posts.
What's his name?
That's one.
Said goodbye, Craig Robertson. Sorry, bud. I mean, in my dream, I see Joe Biden's body in a dark corner of a DC parking garage with his head severed and lying in a huge puddle of blood, period. Hurrah! 3 exclamation points. What else you got? Let's celebrate the life of Greg Robertson. A friendly chap if I ever met one. Oh, perhaps Utah will become famous this week as the place a sniper took out Biden the Marxist. There's no period. Getting sloppy there, big guy. You should either do periods or not do periods. Ha, ha, ha. Hey, FBI, comma. It should have been, are you still monitoring my social media? Question mark. Checking so I can be sure to have a loaded gun handy in case you drop by again, period. Oh, was this not their first visit to this gentleman?
No, he was, I believe, on their radar for a while.
Had they visited him before?
I don't know the answer to that, but I
It's
know
kind of important because if they visited him and he didn't die.
I
that's-
know they
that's
I know
kind
they
of telling.
visited it. I know they visited him yesterday.
Yeah, but if this is the second visit, but he didn't die on the first one, it's like, oh, what's different between these two?
Yeah. Well, we have the answer to that.
Well,
Kathy Griffith
one
let
of-
the
one of
FBI
the-
in. He
I'm
pulled
sorry.
Kathy Griffith let the FBI in. He pulled a gun. Kathy Griffith is still with us. He is not.
There are one of the issues, and I appreciate that you brought this to light and the conversation about it is instructive. And this individual, it sounds as if he was fairly aggressive
Fairly
and he was running the risk.
threatening the POTUS.
Right. So he was fairly aggressive. The issue with a subject like this one, where a human being dies, is it can only really just be an anecdote. In the sense that you can't really take joy in it or wish it would repeat. Does that make sense? I mean, I think it's a sad state of affairs. And you may not recall our discussion yesterday, but one of the things I was trying to get you to accept is that I believe MAGAs suffer by supporting Trump as well. So this to me would be an extreme example.
We know whose
Support
hands.
Trump, and it cost me my life.
We know whose hands that blood is on.
Impressive.
We know whose hands that blood is on. He'll never admit it, but we know full well who is responsible for the mindset and state of mind of that individual. He's a MAGA.
He's a MAGA. I would not put it all on Trump. Like in COVID, I think Trump deserved about 18 to 38%, sound familiar, of every death that occurred when a person refused to get vaccinated.
Oh, I think he deserves more than 38.
Well, no, it takes a village.
It does, but
So this man was there, and he himself contributes materially. And I love this discussion because I believe, as you know, I'm kind of trotting things out, but it bears repetition. I believe that Craig Robertson, was that his name? Craig?
yeah.
I think Craig Robertson takes the lion's share of the responsibility because he chose Trump.
Yeah.
It starts with the people who choose the despot.
I'd agree with that.
Trump has a percentage, I don't know if it's 38% or some lesser number.
No, it's greater.
Okay, that's fine. We're just
And,
talking.
and here's why I say it's greater. Here's
But
why
Fox is in there. Everybody, Giuliani is in there. Giuliani
He-
is 4%.
No.
Yeah, everybody contributed to this guy
Yes, but
staying on course.
Trump, unlike other contributing factors, has the biggest platform and responsibility because you have the greatest platform, the biggest platform. So I give him more than 38% because of the platform you have with contributions to the deaths of COVID. You
You know-
have the biggest microphone.
You know how, like, let's say that you and I are on the same team, so I now need to argue what you just said.
Right?
So I'm not going to split hairs on percentage. You're saying it's what, 50%? Trump is 50% responsible?
Yeah, I'll give him 50.
Okay.
Minimum.
And somebody else,
Minimum.
somebody would start arguing with me about percentages. And they would say, well, that's a lot. And I would say, well, that's because you're only factoring in what Trump did do. You're not factoring in what he could do. And they're like, what do you mean by that? What he could do? President Trump, former President Trump, could walk to a podium
Yep.
anywhere, anytime, day or night. He could stand there and he could hold up a newspaper and he says, it's today. I am not an AI fabrication. I'm going to have somebody come up and confirm that it's me. All right, I want to make a statement. On reflection, I've overdone it. I was drunk with the support of my MAGA nation. I got caught up in what I would have been able to achieve. I honestly feel that I would have eventually been able to create a fascist dictatorship. And I would have had complete control over the United States, the most powerful nation on the surface of the planet. And honestly, it blinded me. I really, God, it was like a wet dream. I really wanted to do that. I would have had unlimited. I would have had control over everything. And I overdid it. And I want to come here today and I want to tell you that I made a mistake. And I know you chose me, but a lot of what I've been saying has been to reinforce your decision and to reinforce that path. On reflection, I don't think that's a good path. I think the costs are too great and it would in fact cost us our democracy. And if you think back, I was a Democrat. I've always been pro-choice. It's true to a certain extent. I am kind of a standard white misogynist, racist. All those things they're baked into me. It's true. I was born with a silver spoon. I'm elitist. I'm entitled, all those things. But I'm not an idiot. And I can see that I'm really starting to put a hurt on this republic. So I'm going to ask all of you, MAGA Nation, to recalculate, reconsider, and redirect. Thank you for your time. So that's what he doesn't do. But if he did do that, then at that point, he would be able to retroactively and moving forward, take a significant percentage of responsibility for not fucking up the nation. But he won't do that. So to me, that's why his culpability is so high, because he's the only one who could undo future damage associated with this situation.
And he's never going to do that.
We're mutually agreed, but that's why he's so responsible. And the only example we have is him sitting in the dining room adjacent to the Oval Office doing nothing.
During January 6th.
If you take any human being who is not comatose and you put them in that position, it would take approximately 40 seconds. They'd be like, what's going on? And it would take another minute for his chief of staff and various other people to say, it looks like they're going up the steps at the Capitol. And after about 2 minutes, you'd be like, well, I'm the president. This is fucking stupid. What can I do? And they would say, oh, well, you should make an announcement and ask them to stop because they're really your supporters. And within 3 minutes, you know, typically
It would have ended.
call used
It
to
would
be
have
your
ended.
3 minutes are up. Within 3 minutes, anybody except him would have been, hold on. This is a problem. Please do not storm the Capitol. Please return to the mall. I'll talk to you there. Get away from the Capitol. This is not going to end well. And that's an example of why he's so culpable, because all the things that he could have done, he did not do. And you're correct. He would not have done, he will not do. But that's
This is why he has been indicted with felony charges. This is exactly why. This isn't a witch hunt. He's being indicted for the exact reasons that
He's
you
doing
just
jail.
stated.
And he conspired with other people
Yes, he
to
did.
continue to not do his job.
Yes, he did.
We've arrived. I don't know where we were going, but we got there.
His lawyer, Carlos de Oliveira, still does not have an attorney in Florida. So they're delaying the hearing again. Because he does.
Smith provide a lawyer.
Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira are expected to arrive this morning for their arraignments. It's being delayed because they don't have counsel yet. And I saw that. Katie Fang of MSNBC tweeted that, and I saw that, and I responded to Katie, and I wrote in my response, and I'm going to quote myself here, and if that were me or any, all caps, other person of color, where would I be right now?
In the exact same situation.
Yes, you guessed it. Sitting in a cell, going through the yellow pages, in parentheses. Do they still have those? Google that, kids. Laugh out loud.
Are you saying it's illegal for, in other words,
No.
is there precedent when people can't get a lawyer for them to go sit in a cell?
Where would I be?
Yeah, you.
Where would Marlon Taylor be if he were to be arraigned this morning and I don't have counsel?
I'm assuming if you needed to select a white person who was in support of Black tribulations, that I'd be on your list. So I'm sensitive to this. I don't know. I can't answer that.
I can answer it.
Well, then
And
I'm
apparently,
you. I'm not. In other words, I'm not going to respond or argue. I'm just going to say I don't know where you'd be. Where would you be?
I'd be sitting in a cell, going through the yellow pages. In parentheses, do they still have those? Google that. Google that, kids. Google yellow pages.
You'd be fucked.
looking for a lawyer. Anyone else would be sitting in a cell going through the yellow pages, which we don't have anymore.
Right. It'd be like, are you not giving me yellow pages because I'm a Black man? To be like, no, we don't have any.
We don't have that anymore. What? Google that, kids.
There's only one way to handle this. You better call Saul.
Google that, kids. Google the internet of the 80s. You will see it as the Britannica Encyclopedia.
Oh, we have a full set.
Oh my God, man.
And I mean a full set. I mean, it is gargantuan. It is huge.
Yes, yes. Though that's the original internet.
I should take a picture of those Encyclopedia Britannica.
Wow. Yeah. Anybody else, any other person of color, including yours truly, Mr. B rating, would be sitting in a cell right now. If I didn't have a lawyer for an arraignment, they would go.
I'm going to take your statement at face value.
Let's go. We got a spot. You can go find a lawyer. We're gonna give you a little room, and you can go. We'll even. I think we can get us a yellow.
Find a public defender.
I don't know. I don't know. I
mean, that part makes sense to me. It'd be like, well, your time limit. There should be some reasonable period of time over which you're permitted to seek out representation. And if that's not available, then you would automatically be assigned representation from a pool of public defenders. And that public defender then could accompany the lawyer into the courtroom. So that part would be intriguing to me.
I think what they are hopeful of is that the Orange Menace will step in and help them. He's distancing himself from you knuckleheads. Once you die, he's not going to touch you again. And politically, you have died to him. So he's not.
Everything that I've heard is that Waltine, as in Saltine, Nauta, is still traveling with Trump and is still his personal aide. Has that changed?
I don't know.
I think this is a straight up delay move.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so at that point, I don't think Trump is throwing Waltine Nauta under the bus. I think.
Oh, he will. He
add
will. You know he will, to save
a
his own
slow
ass.
rolling bus.
To
Say what?
save his own ass, he would throw anyone under the bus.
That is true, but I'm not putting this in that category yet.
You will. You will be.
You know
Because
what
it's
I'm
coming.
going to do?
Because it's coming. It's trust me, it's coming.
You predicted my behavior. I have no idea.
I do. Because of his history. We know his history.
Well-
Once you die to him politically, he no longer gives a shit about you.
What I would like to see, and I don't know if Waltine Nauta would figure into this. I would like to see a future cabinet. In other words, if Trump were to become president again,
Please
I might even be able to do this.
don't say that.
And typically when you have a new administration, you have key personnel who come in and they're loyalists to the newly elected president. That's standard procedure. I think it might be possible to slot individuals into their roles if he wins. And then that would help us understand the calculation each one is making. So let me give you a specific example. What is that judge's name in Florida? Eileen Cannon?
Yeah.
So Eileen Cannon might be a candidate for Attorney General or Assistant Attorney General or some other position of consequence in the Department of Justice. She may also be a candidate for a Supreme Court vacancy. So if you look, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, and we went around, I believe Judge Eileen Cannon is thinking to herself, okay, I'm one of thousands of judges, federal judges, but I'm the only one who has a shot at stardom in the next 2 years. All I have to do is take care of Trump, and there's a very high probability that I will be catapulted into a major role.
That is the most gross miscalculation I've ever heard of.
On her part? Well,
Yes.
no, it's not.
Yes, no,
If you
on
do-
her part.
If you do the math, her candidate is the Republican nominee, which means she's got a 50-50 shot. And a
In
50-50
order to,
shot at leapfrogging all of the people that you know.
but you have
There's
to
no way
violate,
Eileen Cannon
in
is
order
going
to do that, you have to violate your oath as a judge.
That's
that
a
is a-
calculation. She's doing it. She's
Which is
making
the
those calculations.
grossest miscalculation she could ever make, and I hope she
Well,
makes
here's
it.
part of the calculation. She's like, if I violate my oath and they're
Which
able-
she would have to do.
she's already doing it, but you can't disbar her yet.
Not yet.
Right. So every day she wakes up, she calculates what will or will not get her disbarred.
And this is a
and how
gross
much
miscalculation.
favor she can show Trump and then become a leading candidate for a critical role.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Separate discussions. I'm talking about her calculation.
I got that. And that is why I label it one of the grossest miscalculations I've ever seen. Because A, it's not gonna happen. B, you're not going to get those positions. And C, you're most likely to be disbarred once the dust fucking clears.
All right.
So
But
go ahead.
I'm going to ask you to just be honest over the next couple of
Moments.
moments. Thank you. Bear with me. If Biden is our next president, what is the probability that Eileen Cannon does anything except serve out her term in Florida?
That's probably what she would do.
She's not going to leapfrog over
No,
any Democratic judge. And
No,
she's not going to leapfrog over any competent judge.
she doesn't deserve to leapfrog over
She
anybody.
probably, from a competency standpoint, she's probably in the bottom quartile. I'll just
Yep.
do quartile.
Yep. Yep.
So she's not going to have the bona fides. She's not going to have the resume. She's not going to have the education.
She's not going to get it anyway.
She's not going to go anywhere. She will be at her pinnacle. That's all the further that she will go, and she will die in that role.
Right. That's her fault.
That's fine. But would we mutually agree that the chance of her becoming anything else or having more power or more influence is going to be zero?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
If Trump becomes president, if Trump is our next president, are the chances that Eileen,
Of course they are.
okay, so they're non-zero. That's all I'm saying. She's making a calculation, which is if I support Trump
If
And-
we were,
in this role, then my chances become non-zero to become a Supreme Court
if
judge.
we were 7 years ago, I would respond to you right now and say there's no way in hell he's going to become president. But I've been down that road. And I know how ignorant and racist 38% of this country is.
Well, that's like, you've heard the expression, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. About 2016, yeah, we came to it and we fell in the water, so.
Yes. So I'm not going to make that same mistake, but her calculation is a gross miscalculation because it's not going to happen.
I hope her calculation proves to be,
It will. It will.
I hope it's unrewarding.
It
You
will.
know, there is I hear xenophobic, immoral, all kinds of things. But I actually heard a moniker that was attached to Trump that I really liked, and it's not as
Stable genius.
visceral, but I thought it was more appropriate. Disqualifying.
Yes.
So his
He
behavior,
was never qualified to hold that office.
right, but his behavior, you could say his behavior is abhorrent, his behavior is immoral, it's dangerous. It's disqualifying.
Yes.
I happen to like that representation of his behavior. His
The
behavior
moment,
is disqualifying because
The-
it bears no relationship whatsoever to a person who should be in that role.
the moment, and there are different trains of thought. This is Marlon Taylor's thought. As bad as the Access Hollywood tape was, and we all know how bad it
I
was,
didn't struggle with that because I'm not a moral person.
that's okay. As bad as that tape was, to me, that was not the disqualifying moment. The
I agree. That was not a
the
disqualifying.
no,
For
it should have.
multiple reasons. He actually gave the right reason. He said, that's locker room talk. And as a point of interest, there are places that you.
If Joe Biden did that locker room talk, they'd run him out of office. So I don't want to hear that shit. What I'm saying to you, that's a disqualifying moment, but not the most disqualifying moment. The most disqualifying moment came when he publicly on camera mocked a physically disabled reporter. That is the moment that people who claim moral high ground should have stood up and said, he is not qualified to sit in that chair.
You know, I like this. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and once again, I'm going to support what you just said. And what I want to do is I want to contrast the two. Why is one, in my mind, not disqualifying and the other is disqualifying?
They are both disqualifying.
Okay, that's fine. But in my mind,
Because
the Access Hollywood was not disqualifying.
yes, it was. Yes, it was. That is
No, I didn't
pure.
say in your mind, I said in my mind.
The Access Hollywood tape at its core is pure misogynistic.
All right, all men are misogynistic.
No, we are
I
not.
don't-
No, we are not. No,
Anytime.
we are not. No, we are not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We've had this argument.
Hold
No,
on, hold on. I'm not denying your right to disqualify him on two counts. Access Hollywood, ridicule.
Of a physically disabled reporter.
Right. So I'm saying I support your right to disqualify him twice. I'm saying I did not disqualify him on the Access Hollywood. And yes, I would disqualify him on the ridicule of the handicapped person. So I want to explain why one is disqualifying and why the other is not. May I do that?
You can, but they are both disqualifying, but knock yourself out.
They're both disqualifying for you. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about me. We're not having an argument. I'm just expressing an opinion. All men are misogynistic.
No.
Just let me finish
No,
my sentence.
I
This is
cannot
my
let you,
opinion.
I cannot allow you to make that statement and finish. No.
It's
no.
my opinion. I can make a statement that is my opinion.
Okay, fine. Your opinion, which is wrong, that all men are misogynistic. Okay, go ahead.
There are a couple of cliches. One is absolute power corrupts absolutely. Any male who is in a position of unfettered, unlimited authority will eventually start consuming women. And when I say consume, just enjoy.
You are so wrong.
So to me, for a man to say things that would be publicly inappropriate about a woman, that is neither a surprise, nor is it problematic if it's in private. The only time it's problematic is if a woman has to fucking deal with it. No woman should have to deal with the male misogyny.
It's problematic
That's
whether
hardly agreeable.
it's problematic whether a woman has to deal with it or not.
No,
It
it's
is
not,
it
because it's
is
omnipresent.
it is misogyny, plain and simple.
Misogyny is omnipresent. All men want
No,
to
no.
listen.
No,
Have you been paying attention to?
I am not misogynistic. I have never been misogynistic.
Do you know anything about the Islamic faith?
I don't care about them. I don't care about
Yeah,
them.
but what that
And
is,
they're not all men. Your
It's
opinion
a
is
paternalistic society
wrong. Your opinion is wrong. You
which is
may
the
have that
natural state
opinion.
of man. So that's why the Access Hollywood is not disqualifying, because that goes to nature, and the nature
You're
of a
wrong.
man is
You're
flawed.
wrong. You're
The
wrong.
one where he
You're wrong.
denigrates a
You're wrong.
handicapped person,
You're wrong.
that goes to
You're
character,
wrong.
and the
You're wrong.
character is
You're wrong.
specific to the
You're
individual.
wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I love you, but you're wrong.
How can I be
You're
wrong
wrong.
about my own opinion?
You have that opinion because there is a percentage of you that is misogynistic.
Oh,
I
God.
have zero
And I treat my wife like
misogynistic.
the queen.
I have
I
zero.
don't confront women. I don't.
I
interact with
have
women that I don't know.
zero misogynistic traits in my 64-year career. Zero.
What's
I've
that?
always treated women with respect. I've always
Well,
treated
so have
women.
I, but they're not the same thing. What you
Yes,
think?
they
and what you
are.
do are
Yes,
two
they
separate things.
are. Yes, they are. At
You
the
know, I think it
core of
would really
what
help if women understood
the
just
core of what
how
we are
powerful.
at the core of
male
what
drive
we are
is.
talking about is disrespect and misogyny towards women.
But it was in private.
I
He
don't
was
give a
in
fuck where
private.
it was. I don't give a
Listen,
fuck where
If
it
you
was.
go into any locker room,
Your opinion is wrong. Your opinion
okay,
is
so
wrong.
you're telling me that if you're playing Xbox with your buddies, you never go, oh man, that is some fine piece of ass. You never say anything remotely like that.
No. I do not. Now,
I cannot think of a more important thing in the world for a man than women. Women are the most important thing in the world. And
I would agree
Right,
with that
very
statement. I would agree with that statement.
right, but so men are focused on women, and some of those thoughts are impure. And if they're kept private, that's one thing. If they're made public, or if any woman has to deal with this horse shit.
Just because you are
In his
misogynistic,
case, he was inside a bus and somebody surreptitiously recorded that conversation, which I agree with him was locker room talk. I do not consider it disqualifying because it's something that men do. Is he
You're
better
wrong.
or worse than others? I don't know. But
You're
he
wrong.
was saying absolute power corrupts absolutely. I have enough power to be able to grab a woman by the pussy And
You-
it doesn't cause me to go to jail immediately.
You can be corrupt by power. That doesn't mean or give you the right to be disrespectful towards women.
Being disrespectful. He was having a
All
conversation.
right, I'm done.
all the
I'm
people-
done. I'm
Billy
done. I'm done.
Billy
I'm done.
Bush.
I'm done. I'm
Can
done.
you
I'm done.
imagine
I'm done.
having a conversation about Bushes?
I'm done. I'm
Anybody
done.
besides Billy
I'm
Bush?
done. You're wrong. I'm done.
Anyway, so one of the two is disqualified.
Done. You're
And he
wrong.
denigrated the
You're
handicapped person. That was
You're
a
wrong.
character flaw.
You're
That
wrong.
was not a sex.
I encourage all women who view today's podcast to leave a fucking comment and tell JD how asininely wrong he is on this issue and subject, because he is. I love him, but he is asininely wrong. All men are not misogynistic, and just because you're a misogynist behind closed doors doesn't mean it's right to be that when you come outside from behind those closed doors. You're
Well, they're
still
two separate things.
misogynistic. You're
What
still-
you do behind closed,
You're
it's the
still
same
a
thing for women.
misogynist.
A lot of women behave differently in private than they do in public, and that is to be celebrated.
We all behave differently.
That's the point I'm making, and he was
It's
recorded
not a
in
good point.
private
It's not a good
locker
point.
room talk.
It's not a good point. No, that is not locker room talk. That is a belief he had. And
That
that
is a belief
belief,
that is shared by most men to a greater or lesser.
no.
Most men would
No,
love
I refuse to accept that. I refuse
what
to
they
accept
see.
that. I know good,
You're telling me
decent
when you've
men.
seen attractive women, a
I
woman,
s-
you don't in your mind think, oh, I could do that. You don't think that?
I do what I think and what comes out of my mouth
Are
and-
two different things. That's the point I'm making.
No.
Yes, I'm saying that what you think and what you feel and what's internal is one thing. Confronting or polluting somebody's environment with it is totally separate. So if a woman goes into the Me Too movement and says, get your fucking mitts off of me, I'm like, here.
She shouldn't
I
have to
don't think
do
a
that.
man has
She
the right
shouldn't
to
have to
express
do
these
that.
things unless it's by
She
invitation.
should not have to do that. Look, if you
Does
want
not
to
have to do
have,
what?
listen, let me be fucking
No,
clear.
you said somebody should not have to
Let
do.
me fucking be clear here. If you want to have
Why don't you
misogynistic,
fucking make sense before you're
if
clear?
you want to have misogynistic characteristics and traits,
I
fine.
don't have any. Nobody knows about them.
If you want to have that, fine. That's who the fuck you are.
I
That's
don't
your
think there's
DNA.
a choice in the matter. People
Fine.
have it.
Fine, have it. But the second you become disrespectful to women, which he did in that moment, that's a game changer.
The second you become disrespectful to women is a true statement. Remember, he was surreptitiously recorded. At that point, he was describing disrespect to women.
Was he
was demonstrating a misogynistic mindset, but he was in a locker room with
No, he
another
wasn't.
guy
No, he wasn't.
talking about
No, he
Bush.
wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was at an event in public.
You know what?
He was at an
The
event
fuck
in
he
public.
was. No, he was in private.
Where was the bus? Where was the bus?
Listen,
Was the bus in his garage?
somebody recorded a
Was the
conversation
bus
that I had
in his
surreptitiously. I would
garage?
take those fuckers to court.
Was the bus in his garage?
The
No.
only reason that survived, it was considered a hot mic moment.
Was the bus parked in his garage?
It's
No.
in a fucking material.
Was-
He was just talking to another person in an enclosed space.
You are so in the wrong on this.
I am standard. I am a standard male.
No, you are not. No, you are not. You might be a standard old white misogynistic male, but you are not a standard male.
All
No.
males are misogynistic.
No.
Now, you know what?
I'm not
actually at a
accepting that.
crossroads. You've made some excellent points, and I need to make an adjustment because I'm hurting myself.
Yes, you are.
All right. And how am I hurting myself? I'm making a mistake.
All men are not misogynistic. That's where you really hurt yourself.
Yes.
I
and
refuse
you know
to
what?
accept that.
I think you have a better grasp on this than I do. I think I've made a mistake.
Yes, you have.
I'm not making a mistake about the concept, but I'm using the wrong fucking word. I should not use misogyny.
No, you shouldn't use all men.
Well, no, I'm okay with the all men, but here, let me tell you what the first definition of misogyny that came up was. And I'm realizing that I should not use misogyny because it's a bad word and I'm not misogynistic. I am a male, but it says dislike of, that's not me. I adore females. Contempt for, that's not me. I have incredible respect for. Or ingrained prejudice, that ain't me, against women. So I gotta find a different word than misogyny.
Misogyny is what we heard on that bus. Now, you have to speak.
What actually, that's a good point. What you're
You
saying
have,
is
you
that
have to, you have
he
to,
said, I disrespect women. That's what he's doing. When he grabs them by the pussy, he's disrespecting women. And
yes.
you can have desire with disrespect. Because most women are in fact desirable. They wake up in the morning, boom, they're desirable. So just because you desire somebody, that takes no effort. I'm trying to find another word. I need to find another word besides this.
You work on that one. You work on that one.
I am working on it.
We'll bring it up on another future episode. And again, any female who listens to today's show is going to light you up because
Okay, the antonym is a hatred or dislike. It's called misandry. That's not I need a synonym for misogyny that is not.
yeah, good luck on that one. What I know is
I'm
that
not misogynist. I'm gonna
that
agree with you.
day on that bus, which was in public,
It was not in public.
was the bus in his garage? No.
No, but he was in the bus. That's
I
private.
don't give a fuck where he was. I'm talking about where the bus
He was on a hot mic. He could have been on a hot mic in his house. He could
but
have
he
been on a
wasn't.
hot mic
But
in
he
a locker room.
wasn't. He was in public. The bus was in public.
I'm trying to find a good word that represents the natural.
If you
possessive nature of men.
go sit in your car right now in the garage and jack off, you're jacking off in your car in your garage. If you go down to Haynes Point, park your car at Haynes Point and jack off in the front seat of your car, you're in your car, but you are in public. And will be
I'll
cited
grant you that one.
and will be cited and arrested for that.
Okay. I'm asking AI, what word
You can ask AI all you want.
best describes the male desire to women? Question.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It should
Good luck
not,
with that.
It should not be misogyny.
Good luck with that. To wrap this portion of the conversation up, both were disqualifying moments from someone seeking to hold office in this country as president of the United States.
I would never argue that. I would say, in my opinion, that Access Hollywood was not disqualifying, but I would never argue that anybody should agree with me. That's just my opinion.
Well, there you have it. Because you're not going to have anybody agree with you but him. He would be the only person that agreed with you. Back to my original point. Both are disqualifying. One is clearly a demonstration of the misogynistic traits and mindsets that he has. The other goes beyond that. And the other, I don't attack him. I attack all those who claim to stand on the moral high ground, who stood silent, laughed and cheered as he mocked someone with a physical disability.
You know what? The more I think about it, the more I see your point.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Because it's referred to as the Access Hollywood incident, right?
Tape. Yep.
And I put considerable emphasis on the conversation between Donald Trump and Billy Bush. And I have stated that my opinion is that that conversation was not disqualifying. But if I look at it and reflect on the things that you're saying, what Trump was describing, self-describing,
Thank you.
was misogynistic behavior that is disqualifying. So you know what? You've changed my mind. That's 2 disqualification events. And
Progress.
I overdid it. I overdid it by splitting hairs and saying I still believe it was locker room talk. I
No,
still believe it was recorded
No.
service.
no.
The point you're making is independent of that. You're saying
If he's in
Donald
his,
Trump is a self-admitted disrespecter of women and will invade their space at will.
if he's
Without
in
their
his bathroom in Mar-a-Lago with all the classified documents that he's not supposed to have, and he makes that statement, then I would consider that to be locker room talk. He
Okay.
is at a bus at a public location at a public
Now you're
rally.
going back to kind of what I was talking about, but I like the internal component of your argument more than the external component. So I'm more interested in the revelation or the exposition, and I have now changed my opinion. He
I'll
is
go
double
back-
disqualified.
And I will go back to the analogy I gave you. If you jack off in your car in your garage, you're in private. If you jack off in your car at Haynes Point, you're in public. You go to jail for one, you don't go to jail for the other.
There's some subjects I like to expand on. I'll just leave that one be. Okay, good. That's a good example. Yeah, I'm glad. Let me tell you what happened when I checked with artificial intelligence.
Tell me what happened.
What word best describes the male desire to dominate women? And it came back with misogyny. And I was like,
There you
okay,
There you go.
how about
you
the male desire for all women? And it came back and it said the male desire for all women is a complex issue with a variety of
It
contributors.
means you're a hoe.
Like,
It means
fuck,
you're a hoe.
there's no word to describe this thing. How have we
Hoe.
avoided naming
Hoe.
male?
That's the word we used in the hood. You're a hoe. If you desire all women,
Hoe
you're
is
a
good.
hoe.
Hoe is good.
You're a hoe. And I
Hoe-
don't mean the female, I mean the male. So we're clear.
Yeah, hoe, I guess hoe is you. Yeah, but see, that's unfair. I've always thought, I've never liked the use of the word whore because it's tagged to women.
It can be tagged to men.
And that's okay. And I don't consider it negative. In other words, I guess what we're turning up with is I don't consider whore derogatory. I don't consider prostitution immoral. So I guess I don't.
That's a
consider
different
whore
discussion. That's a different discussion.
That's a different discussion. But we're just going to talk about the universal male and female desire for the other sex, independent of the LGBTQIA plus whatever. I mean, that's a totally separate issue. I'm
Yes.
just talking about in the world that I occupy, which is just a hetero nominal world.
I'm glad we settled that one. And it's settled and summarized plain and simple. Again, jack off in your car in the garage, you're fine. Jack off in your car at Haynes Point, you're going to jail.
I don't care. That's the third time you're
And
going.
for people who don't know Haynes Point, that's in Washington, DC. Beautiful park. That's part of my cycle track. I
Oh,
used to do
we
in
went
DC.
down to Haynes Point, Ann and I.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place. I understand there's an initiative, as I wrap us up and take us out. I understand there's an initiative to bring the Awakening Man statue back from the Washington Harbor to Haynes Point, where it originated. I would love to see that.
That's where we saw it.
I would love to see
I
that.
haven't seen it at Washington Harbor.
Well, I haven't even been to Washington Harbor. It's been
Oh,
so
we went on the Ferris wheel at Washington Harbor, and it was actually very pleasant.
beautimous.
We went there for their wintry thing with the boys.
Oh yeah.
It was fun. It was actually a lot of
It's
fun.
I hear it's good. They have a casino down there,
It
don't
was
they? I
great
think.
for kids. I mean, we took the boys and they loved it. We went on the Ferris wheel and they loved it. They were younger.
Isn't there a casino down there? I think my sister goes to the casino and her husband, they frequent the Washington Harbor. I think they have a big casino down there. They're casino people.
That
I-
sounds right. I'd like to
I'm
go.
not. One of
I-
my Twitter followers, I can't even remember the tweet she did. And it was, her tweet was centered around gambling. And I said, listen, this is a couple of years ago, but I spent a week in the Aria in Las Vegas and didn't gamble a single red cent. Not one dime went to gambling. Now, Marlon, yours truly, had a pool bar hotel bill that would equate to anybody's gambling loss, but felt like I got something out of that, right?
did?
Because it's the pool bar at the hotel. So yeah, I'm getting something for my money versus gambling, which is you get nothing from your money. I wish though I could have been the Powerball winner in Florida, who still hasn't come forward. Made me think last night when I saw it on
We bought some of those tickets.
the Ellen did.
I think it was Mega Millions. We bought the Mega Million ticket.
My better half did too. And watching that on NBC News last night, there is no question in my mind, and I said this to my better half watching the story, there is absolutely no question in my mind, had that been me, the winner, I would take a lump sum payment and you would never hear from me again. And my better half said, well, Marlon, your phone would be blowing up because everybody would know. And I said,
I would no longer have that number. I would.
my phone wouldn't be blowing up because I ain't answering it. You can ring all you want. Marlon is not.
If I won that money, the first thing I would do is give a substantial amount of it to the people in my world, like to pay off all their debts and give them like $1 million in the bank. So that would be wonderful. And
I would help the people, unlike the petulant child that runs
yeah, it's
Twitter.
in the rest to his reelect me fund.
Unlike the petulant child that runs Twitter, his mama call him Twitter, I'm gonna call him Twitter. Unlike that petulant child, I would be stepping up right now. What can I do, Lahaina, Maui, to help? So I would help the good people of Maui and Lahaina. If I won that, I would find a way to help them. I think we're going to find ways to help them. I would love, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I understand she's a great performer. I saw what she did the other night where she gave Kobe Bryant's daughter her hat in the middle of her performance. Stuff like that I love seeing. Tells me what kind of person you are to do stuff like that. I would love to see her and others who are in that performing realm do a concert. All proceeds go to the people of Lahaina and Maui. I'd love to see stuff like that start to take form and shape.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, on Saturday night, my wife and I babysat my nephew's daughter. She's so beautiful. What would my nephew's wife be? My
Nephew-in-law.
nephew's wife. She and her friend got the VIP experience at Beyonce.
Ah,
So we went over there at 3 and they were magnificent. They were all beaded and it was incredible.
I get it.
They had a great time. They had a great time at Beyonce.
I get it. I have this discussion in my house. Beyonce, Taylor Swift, yes, great performers. Marlon is not into performers. Marlon is into musicians. And I know musicians don't rake in money anymore like performers. I get that distinction. And that's why I'm saying those in the performing realm who generate the kind of money, they brought up Beyonce on the family Zoom call this past weekend. I think somebody in my family knew somebody who paid $300, $400 a ticket to go see Beyonce. And I said, okay, Taylor Swift was just here in Seattle and a couple made the news who paid $22,000 for 2 tickets, $11,000 a piece. So when you have
And one was the drummer That
when you
one was
have
a backup singer.
when you have performers who generate that kind of money, I would like to see them come together and do something that would
It's highly
generate.
probable that money didn't go to Taylor Swift. She probably had an original ticket price and it was scalped at that money.
It was scalped at that money. I will give Taylor Swift this though. I think upon her departure from Seattle, she donated $1 million to a food bank here. So that, again, I'm not a fan of her music, and I know there's a whole Swiftie nation out there. It's not my cup of tea. But when you do stuff like that, when you show me what's in your heart like that, I become a fan of you. Not necessarily your music, but certainly a fan of you.
Here, here,
There you have it.
2 old farts.
2 old guys who are touching the third rail on a regular.
Kind of yes and no.
We may, in fact, because of recent events here in B Ratings House, we may in fact have a podcast tomorrow. So stay tuned, folks. We may have a follow-up show tomorrow. If not, we will catch you next week on.
Unfortunately, I already have something in that time slot.
Okay, then we will not have a podcast tomorrow.
However, we're going to kick it in the following week.
Yes, we will. Our prayers are out to all of those impacted in Lahaina and beyond. I've got multiple texts coming in last night with pictures of the Lahaina grill, and we've all been there. We've all supported there. We all have stories from that area, and our hope is that they rebuild, and we can help them in some way, shape, or form.
Amen, brother.
Been a blast today. I know next week or tomorrow we're a no-go. We'll be back next week. This is Marlon dropping the teaser for next week, so you want to tune in. We'll be back next week with indictment number 4.
Oh, God willing.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming, people.
It's coming. They've already put the barricades up in Fulton County. It's coming.
Rainy night in Georgia.
Indictment number 4.
It'll be raining all over the world.
Yeah.
All right, bud.
We'll have another indictment day in celebration and drinking.
I'm ready. I could do
I'm
one of
ready to go. We can do 2 more. As many as you got. Keep bringing them.
Bring them on.
Brother, been a pleasure.
You too. Finish up the week strong. I love you, man.
We're on Twitter. His mama call him Twitter. His mama name him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter. We're on Spoutable, YouTube, First World Third Rails. Like us, love us, hate us, comment on us. But most importantly,
I know what you mean, so it's working.
most importantly, please subscribe to us. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Bye.
Bye.